Ken Hill for Racers360. And we want to put together a few-minute video that follows up some of the webinars that we've done on reference points. And what we want to do on this one is, I mean, you've heard it all the time, whether you're driving or riding. Hey, get your eyes up, look ahead. And you're like, okay, great. What am I supposed to be looking at? And let's use this time to actually tell you what you should be looking at. And once you figure out what you should be looking at, boy, does it make your life a lot easier that you can actually start to choose some of these reference points. So yes, there's a ton of different things that are going on in your periphery, but there are 5 specific reference points we should be focused on. And these are the things that we should be targeting. These are the things that we should be picking out. And you've heard it. Oh, yeah, I won that race because I just connected my dots. Well, we need to establish what those dots are. We need to establish those references. So that's what we're going to do. All right. There are 5 specific reference points that we want to look at. And I'm going to list them in the order of importance. And every corner has them. They're all there. And then as we get into this, we'll talk a little bit more about how we choose them in a vital reference point for every corner. So the 5 reference points are our exit apex, our entry apex, our slowest point of the corner, or where we release the brake, our turn-in point, and where we apply the brakes. And the reason that I'm listing them in that order is because it all starts with your exit apex. That's really where we want to end up. So I've drawn a few things out here. This happens to be Thunder Hill West. And the reason that this is important is because if we want to put our exit apex first, because our exit apex determines where our entry apex is. And then once we have our entry apex, then we can think about, oh, is it an entry corner or is it an exit corner? Is it a balance corner? And that tells us where we're releasing the brake. And then from there, we can look at, okay, where does our turn-in point is and where we apply the brakes. So in this case here, we're just taking this right here at Thunder Hill West, and we're just going to think about going straight back. That determines our entry apex from our exit. And then the slowest point of the corner, right, where we're releasing the brake, we've got our turn-in point, and then where we apply the brakes. So those first 3 references, right, our exit apex, our entry apex, and our slowest point of the corner, those are very fixed. Those places pretty much never change. But what changes is our turn-in point and where we apply the brakes. And that's really based on speed and what bike you're on. So those fixed references, they can be so many different things. And what we're typically looking at, in this case, what we've looked at is we have the end of the curb right here, great exit reference point. Here we've got about the end of the curb for our entry apex. Slowest point of the corner in this particular corner, because it's about a 180-degree corner. Slowest point is just about there in the middle. And then our turn-in reference here, in this case, I've got the X drawn right there, but you can see where some of the cars have dipped a wheel, and it's where it goes from grass to dirt. And then brake application point, you're going to find something off the track or find something on the track for that. So those are the 5 reference points that we're looking at. So now we can take another corner, and here at Thunder Hill as well. And in this case, right, we've got our exit apex out there. That particular corner, there's no curb. Oh my gosh, what do you do if there's no curb? And you want to find something that lines you up with your exit, something that brings your eyes up into play that you can accelerate to. And right there at this particular place where I've got that drawn, there's kind of a big black sealer patch right there. And it's a great place. The track actually dips down there a little bit, but it's a reference point. It's a little bit hard to see, but it's one I know that's there. They didn't plow it up from the lap before. And it's one that I have to anticipate a little bit. And then the entry apex, same thing. We've got some dirt right there. Now that we've got this big, more than 180-degree corner, we know that the slowest point lasts a long time because it's a long radius corner, and that's perfectly okay. So that starts to give you some things that you can take a look at. In this case, where this X is drawn, also a big sealer patch, a great turn-in point here, depending on the bike. I use where the bypass road is. I can come in there, and as I get to where the bypass road is, I know it's time to turn in. So those are the types of references that I'm looking for. And a lot of times we're looking for something either off track on their exit apexes that lines you up straight with your exit. The curbs work great. Corner worker stations work fantastic. So let's add one more thing to that. And that one thing is if every corner has these 5 reference points, but of course you're at speed and you're like, oh, I don't really have time. As you get quicker, you're going to organically establish the one reference point that if you get that one reference point, the rest of them take care of themselves. Like, you know, again, I'll just kind of use Thunder Hill West here as an example. I know that if I'm coming down here, if I get my turn-in point right, then the rest of the corner takes care of itself. I know that if I get my brake release point here, that I know I'm pointed straight, and then I'll get to my exit apex here. I know if I get to my turn-in point here, again, the rest of the corner takes care of itself. I know if I find my exit reference here, if I find that all the way back here, then my trajectory in here takes care of itself. Same thing here, because this is blind. If I find my exit reference over here, then this whole section takes care of itself. If I get my slow point of the corner right here, then my exit takes care of itself. If I get my turn-in point right here, then I know my trajectory down here is right. And so this is part of putting all of your dots together, right? Connecting all of those things. So the 5 reference points: our exit apex, our entry apex, our slowest point of the corner, or where you're releasing the brake, your turn-in point, and where you apply the brakes. These are the things that we should be looking for. These are the things that we should be writing down on our track maps and literally building your road map for your lapping. And if you're uncomfortable, if you're typically uncomfortable in a section, it's because you don't have a reference for it. So this gets our conversation started on reference points. There's so much more that we can do from here, but we've at least got to get this conversation started and get you picking these out. So there you go. Ken from Racers360, more on the way.